The moment she grabbed my wrist, the world seemed to tilt, as if fate itself had stumbled and fallen into our path. Her fingers were cold, trembling, and desperate, and before I could even ask what was wrong, she leaned closer to me, her breath uneven, her eyes wide with fear. In that single heartbeat, I understood that something was chasing her. Maybe a man, maybe a memory, maybe a life she was trying to escape. I didn't know her name yet, didn't know her story, but I felt the weight of it pressing against my chest. What I did know was this: whatever was about to happen would change both of us forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of doing the right thing when no one is watching, please take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel, The Kindness Chronicles. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that are still waiting to heal. I had been standing outside a small cafe, the kind of place where the smell of burnt coffee mixed with rain, soaked pavement, lost in my own thoughts, when she appeared beside me like a storm seeking shelter. The city was loud that evening, horns blaring, footsteps rushing past, yet somehow her fear cut through the noise. She stood too close, close enough that I could feel her heartbeat through her sleeve, racing like it was trying to outrun her past. I sensed someone behind us, the weight of unseen eyes pressing into my back, and instinct took over before reason had time to argue. I wrapped an arm around her shoulders, gentle but firm, and tilted my head slightly, as if this closeness was natural, familiar, practiced over years rather than seconds. In that moment, I played a role I didn't understand yet. I became safety, or at least the illusion of it. Her body relaxed just a little, though her breathing still shook, and I could feel tears threatening to spill from her lashes. The man watching us from across the street lingered for a moment longer, his presence sharp and uncomfortable, before finally turning away, swallowed by the crowd. Only then did I realize how tightly she was holding on to me, as if letting go meant falling back into something dark and inescapable. When she finally stepped away, her face was pale, eyes red, rimmed, and her lips trembled with words she struggled to keep inside. She didn't explain right away. Instead, she apologized again and again, as if kindness was something she wasn't allowed to accept without guilt. I told her it was okay, though I wasn't entirely sure what okay meant anymore. Sometimes the smallest acts pull you into the biggest stories. Her name was Ariba. She told me this after we sat down on a bench nearby, the city lights flickering like uncertain stars above us. She spoke slowly, carefully, as if each sentence had to pass through years of pain before reaching her lips. The man watching us, she explained, was someone she once trusted, someone who had promised love but delivered control, fear, and silence instead. She had left him months ago, but some people don't accept endings. They chase them, twist them, refuse to let them be real. Listening to her felt like standing at the edge of a deep river, knowing that stepping in would mean being carried far from where I started. I had my own struggles, my own disappointments and unfinished dreams, but her story eclipsed them in that moment. She talked about nights spent wondering if she'd ever feel safe again, mornings waking up with panic lodged in her throat, and the constant fear of being seen, recognized, claimed. She wasn't asking me to save her. She was simply telling the truth, something she hadn't been able to do in a long time. Over the next few days, we kept running into each other. Or maybe we were unconsciously seeking one another out. Sometimes it was a quick hello, sometimes a long walk through crowded streets where she felt less visible, less alone. I noticed how she flinched at sudden movements, how she scanned every room for exits, how laughter came to her easily but faded just as fast. And I noticed something else too, how being around her made me more aware, more present, more human. The challenge wasn't just her past, it was mine as well. I had learned to keep my distance from people, to build walls that protected me from disappointment. I believed kindness was good, but love was risky, and involvement always came with a cost. Yet every time I considered pulling back, I remembered the way her hand had trembled in mine that first night, and how a simple gesture had shifted the course of her fear, even if only for a moment. One evening, she told me she was planning to leave the city, not because she wanted to, but because staying felt like living in a constant state of alarm. Her voice cracked as she spoke, and I realized how unfair it was that safety felt like a luxury rather than a right. I wanted to tell her to stay, to promise that things would get better, but I knew empty words could do more harm than good. Instead, I offered what I could, my presence, my support, my belief in her strength. As days turned into weeks, something subtle began to change. Her posture straightened, her laughter lasted longer. She started talking about small dreams again, finding a job she loved, decorating her own place, waking up without fear. And I changed too. I found myself looking forward to our conversations, caring more deeply than I had planned, feeling hope stir in places I thought were permanently quiet. The man from her past tried once more to insert himself into her life, but this time she didn't freeze. She didn't reach for my wrist in panic. She stood her ground, her voice steady, her eyes clear. I watched from a distance, ready to step in, but she didn't need me to. She had found her own strength, and witnessing it felt like watching a sunrise after a long, endless night. Eventually, she did leave the city, but not out of fear. She left for opportunity, for growth, for a future she chose rather than escaped. On her last day, we sat in that same cafe where everything had begun, the air thick with unspoken feelings. There were no dramatic confessions, no promises carved into stone, just gratitude, warmth, and the quiet understanding that sometimes people enter our lives not to stay forever, but to remind us who we can be. After she left, life returned to its usual rhythm, but I wasn't the same. I noticed people more. I reached out more. I believed, deeply and without irony, that kindness could ripple outward in ways we might never fully see. One small act, one moment of pretending, had become something profoundly real. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of a moment when kindness changed your life or someone else's, please take a moment now to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the Kindness Chronicles. Your engagement keeps these stories alive and reaching those who need them most. And before we end, I have a special request for you. Please comment below with a single line about a time when a small act of kindness made a big difference in your life. Your words might become the hope someone else is searching for tonight.